गुड इवनिंग एंड वेलकम टू गना शॉट। गना शॉट में आप सबका स्वागत है। सत श्री अकाल एंड वणकम। आज हम बांग्लादेश के बारे में बात करना कर रहे हैं और इसके बारे में बात करने के लिए हमारे साथ जनरल शौकिन चौहान है। राइट, जनरल शौकिन, वेलकम टू गना शॉट वंस अगेन।
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. I look forward to this discussion on Bangladesh. A very interesting discussion.
या एंड जैसे आपको पता है, बांग्लादेश इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट नेबर ऑफ अस, क्योंकि लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स आर कनेक्टेड विद बांग्लादेश और एंटायर नॉर्थ ईस्ट इज कनेक्टेड विद बांग्लादेश। राइट, आफ्टर ऑल द सिलीगुड़ी कॉरिडोर जिसके बारे में हम बात करते रहते हैं, that is also an important aspect of our northeast and our northeast strategy. जैसे इस मैप में दिखाया गया है। एंड Bangladesh shares borders with West Bengal, it shares borders with Meghalaya, it shares borders with Tripura, and it shares borders with Mizoram. And it has an impact further on Arunachal Pradesh, Manipur, and Nagaland, right? And of course, there are a lot of issues in Bangladesh. It also could give us the overland connectivity to our northeast. It could also give us sea connectivity to the northeast, and a lot of things. And the Chinese are making their presence felt out there, as we all know. We keep discussing it on and off. It is in that context that I thought आज हम बांग्लादेश के बारे में बात करेंगे. After all, it is part of our Act East policy also. Right? We all both know it, and we've served in those belts quite a bit, right? And we've had our problems with Bangladesh. We helped Bangladesh come into existence, but we have had a lot of problems. But we had good times also of late. Our relationship has been on an even keel. So take it on. All yours.
Thank you, sir. So, सबसे firstly, thank you so much for calling me on the show. Discussing with General P.R. Shankar is always such a pleasure. Mainly because he is so knowledgeable himself, and that we have had so many postings together in places which have been difficult. So we both understand the land on which we talk about. सबसे जो important चीज है कि जब आप एक देश के साथ उनकी रिलेशंस के बारे में बात करते हैं, आपने तीन चीजें जरूर देखनी है। सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट है ज्योग्राफी, लोकेशन क्या है बांग्लादेश का, दूसरा हिस्ट्री, तीसरा कल्चर। तो जब हम ये तीनों चीजें देखते हैं, तीनों चीजों को डिस्कस करते हैं, तब हमको समझ आता है कि एक देश और दूसरे देश के साथ प्रॉब्लम क्यों है। जन शंकर ने बताया कि बांग्लादेश हमारे लिए क्यों इम्पोर्टेंट है। सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट है कि ये हमारा नेबर है। दूसरा इम्पोर्टेंट चीज है कि ये लोअर रिपेरियन कंट्री है। इसका मतलब है कि हमारे देश से जो पानी आता है वो बांग्लादेश की तरफ ही जाता है। और इसमें इम्पोर्टेंस ये है सर, अगर आप वो दिखाएंगे पानी जो इंडिया से आ रहा है बांग्लादेश में जाता है, ये इम्पोर्टेंट क्यों है? क्योंकि समर मंथ्स में जो फ्लो है वो कम हो जाता है। ऑब्वियसली ड्राई सीजन रहता है, पानी कम हो जाता है। तो अगर पानी भारत में कम हो जाता है, अकॉर्डिंगली पानी बांग्लादेश में भी कम हो जाता है। और बांग्लादेश का मेन प्रॉब्लम ये था कि अगर आप हमारा पानी समर मंथ में रोकेंगे तो हमारे लिए बहुत मुश्किल होती, क्योंकि हमने एक टाइम में फराक्का बराज भी बिल्ड करा था पानी का फ्लो कंट्रोल करने के लिए। और तीसरी बात जो है कि जब हमारे में मॉनसून्स आते हैं, जैसे अभी जून जुलाई अगस्त में मॉनसून्स आएंगे, तो हमारे जो नॉर्थ ईस्टर्न स्टेट्स है और ईस्टर्न स्टेट्स में उधर बारिश बहुत ज्यादा होती है और पानी का फ्लो बहुत बहुत तेज हो जाता है। और यहाँ जब फ्लो तेज हो जाता है तो हम फराक्का बराज को खोल देते हैं क्योंकि हम कंट्रोल नहीं कर सकते पानी को। और जब खोल देते हैं तो लोअर रिपेरियन स्टेट जो बांग्लादेश है, जहां से ये पानी बे ऑफ बंगाल में जाता है, उधर फ्लड्स हो जाते हैं। और अगर आप बांग्लादेश का ज्योग्राफी देखेंगे तो बांग्लादेश इज वन ऑफ द वर्ल्ड्स मोस्ट पॉपुलस नेशंस, मोस्ट डेंसली पॉपुलेटेड नेशन में से एक है ये। लैंड टू मैन रेशियो बहुत बहुत हाई है, और स्लोली बाय स्लोली द बे ऑफ बंगाल इज ईटिंग इनटू द लैंड ऑफ बांग्लादेश। तो ये तो, these are the three things that worry India. These are the three things that worry Bangladesh. And Bangladesh, अगर आप further देखते हैं, if you can sir take out the Bangladesh uh, map with Myanmar, अब हाँ वो पीछे नीचे देखिए सर, या द लास्ट वन सर, हाँ इससे पहले वो दूसरा वाला था। आप देखेंगे कि सर बांग्लादेश और बांग्लादेश की प्रॉब्लम्स, एक तो पॉपुलेशन की डेंसिटी बहुत ज्यादा है, दूसरा उनके जो, जब वो ईस्ट पाकिस्तान बना तो वेस्ट पाकिस्तान डिड नॉट शेयर anything with Bangladesh. As a result, the people of Bangladesh became poorer and poorer, and the education levels were very, very low. As also the job opportunities were not there at all in East Pakistan, which is the reason why the people rebelled, and the people then took to mm, took to Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, who promised them an independent nation, which came about finally on the 16th of December 1971. But the operations in Pakistan had started on the 24th of March 1971. तो एवरीथिंग जो भी हमारे नॉर्थ ईस्ट में होता है, जो भी हमारे ईस्ट में होता है, इट ऑल अफेक्ट्स बांग्लादेश। अगर पानी नहीं आया तब प्रॉब्लम है, अगर ज्यादा पानी है तब प्रॉब्लम है। और उनकी जो पॉपुलेशन है वो लाइक आवर नॉर्थ ईस्ट पॉपुलेशन, उनकी पॉपुलेशन हैज अ लॉट ऑफ ट्राइबल पॉपुलेशन। उनके उनके जो ट्राइबल बेल्ट्स हैं चिटगोंग हिल ट्रैक्स में, they are very akin to the tribal belts of our uh, Meghalaya, of our Mizoram, and of our Assam, which are actually the states that border Bangladesh. And because Bangladesh had this problem for so many years, economic problem, lack of land, lack of job opportunities, lack of food, that people from Bangladesh started moving towards India. Not because they liked India, but because at least they could earn a living there. I remember, and जय सर भी हमारे साथ थे तब 1993 में, जब हम 1995 में when we were serving when I was in headquarter 3 Corps, going to Tripura and seeing that vast majority of people coming into India, Tripura, to earn a living and going back in the evening. Only because there are no jobs. Otherwise, why would people from one country go to another? Jan Shankar mentioned the fact that we have not had a good relationship throughout, despite the fact that India helped Bangladesh in getting freedom on the 16th of December 1971. After the first 10 years, the problems in Bangladesh started, mainly because there was still a vast majority of people who supported actually Pakistan. One was its army. The Bangladesh army at that time was a great supporter of Pakistan because the officers had trained with the Pakistan army from the beginning. And when that happened, and when Sheikh Mujibur Rahman was killed, and uh, General Ziaur Rahman became the president finally after a lot of palace coups. His party, the Bangladesh Nationalist Party, actually started supporting a large number of anti-India movements, including a large number of the the anti-India terrorists or insurgents started taking shelter there and started building camps there. So I'm just covering a broad system historically. Okay, this could happen because of where Bangladesh was. Bangladesh created this thing that India is starving them, that we are not giving them water, that we have not completely given them the lands that they are supposed to have had, that we are controlling the flow of water during the dry season, which is causing great distress to the people of Bangladesh during the dry season. And during the monsoons, we are letting the barrage open, which is creating flooding in Bangladesh. There is no doubt that Bangladesh did face huge floods in the past century, huge floods, because the state is like that, the land is like that. So it is only once Begum Khalida uh, lost and Sheikh Hasina came in, and for the last 15 years, that she decided, Sheikh Hasina is the youngest daughter of Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, that she was able to overcome this anti-India movement that was taking place in Bangladesh. And slowly by slowly, she created a pro-India setup. Because practically speaking, India is Bangladesh's most important neighbor. There is no doubt about it. Everything that Bangladesh has is connected to India. And when you are connected by culture, when you are connected by water, when you're connected by geography, when you're connected by everything, then within a home, at times, things can go wrong. So it is actually Sheikh Hasina who can be credited for the turnaround of Bangladesh. Slowly, Bangladesh's economy improved. Slowly by slowly, she has started becoming a major player in cotton, in finished clothes, in the export of a lot of things. And today, her economy is better than that of Pakistan. Her people are better educated than Pakistan. In 2015, India had a very, very important uh, deal with Sheikh Hasina's government about the river waters, about the enclaves, which we finally, I think,
Got sorted
signed
out.
in 2019. Yes, and as a result of which, much of the anger that the Bangladeshis felt against India has now been resolved to a very great extent. The the the, the small enclaves that were actually going through India and into Bangladesh and going through Bangladesh into India, a lot of them have been sorted out. Practically, we have created a lot of, we have finished a lot of problems between us. Bangladesh also, as General P.R. Shankar said, is critical for the Indian management of our northeast. अगर आप कलकत्ता से त्रिपुरा जाते हैं, so if you go only by through India, only through India, it will take you 1700 kilometers. And if you go through Bangladesh, it will take you 440 kilometers. That is the difference between going through Bangladesh and going through overland without going through Bangladesh. It's a huge difference. 1700 kilometer and 440 kilometer. The second thing is so much of India's goods can actually go by sea through Bangladesh to Guwahati, through the Brahmaputra. So much of trade can go through that and save India lakhs and lakhs and lakhs of crores as well as time. So Bangladesh is critical to us. It is important that we have a great relationship with them. And in many ways, what has been happening over the last 15 years, 10 to 15 years, has been critical for India's stability in the Northeast. Over to you, Shankar sir.
Yeah, I think you've given a good overview of the relationship and the importance of Bangladesh to India. क्योंकि जैसे आपने बताया overland connectivity to the northeast, then you have the thing of, I mean, Bangladesh improves, plus overall peace and development of northeast, like, right? All that. Now, despite all this, despite Sheikh Hasina coming, and despite everything, let's take a few issues. Let's first discuss. Uh, what are the good things which have happened? You have outlined that we've sorted out the enclaves up, right? और रिवर वाटर शेयरिंग एग्रीमेंट कुछ हद तक आगे गया है, पर आज अभी रेमिनेंट प्रॉब्लम्स क्या है बांग्लादेश के साथ आपके विचार में, और जो ऑनगोइंग इश्यूज क्या हैं जो आपके विचार में है?
मेरे विचार में सर रिसेंटली 2019 2020 में हमने ये जो सिटीजन अमेंडमेंट एक्ट लाया, that has created some problems and some
सब
anger again in Bangladesh. The reason is कि while there has been a lot of illegal immigration from Bangladesh into India, and because of that, certain districts in Assam have have culturally changed. The Citizens Amendment Act has brought in a lot of anger. Basically, जो Citizens Amendment Act में क्या था, that we had during the Assam agitation. Finally, when we brought the Assam agitation to an end, the Rajiv Gandhi government had signed a treaty had signed an agreement with ULFA that the Citizens Act, that anybody who entered India after the 24th of March 1971 would be an illegal immigrant to Assam and would not be permitted to vote and would be sent back from where he came. Why 24th March? Because the crackdown in Bangladesh by the West Pakistani army happened and started on the 24th of March. And that was a time when huge amount of refugees ran
came
from
over this side.
Bangladesh into India, and many settled in this area. So the idea was that we should be able to recognize who these immigrants were, illegal immigrants were, and we should be able to throw them back. That was the basis of the Citizens Amendment Act. This new act that came in changed the date from 24th March 1971 to 31st of December 2015. That created a furor in Bangladesh, and 2019 2020 were difficult years for us because once again a large number of Bangladesh ministers, the prime minister, they all cancelled their visits to India. Uh, you know, Finally, the Citizens Amendment Act has not been rescinded, but has been held in abeyance.
In abeyance,
And
yeah,
in
especially in Assam and all that, yeah.
yes, yes, and ये है actually Assam के ही लिए था sir.
हाँ,
It was because of the change in demography of certain districts in Assam that they
yeah,
had
the bordering
kept
districts of
Ulfa,
Dhubri
yeah,
and, yeah,
yeah, and Hailakandi,
Nagaon,
yeah,
Hailakandi,
this
Karimganj.
Karimganj.
Yeah,
And these were the problems that Ulfa had. These were the reasons why Ulfa had got the support of the Assamese to start their agitation against the government of India in Assam. And both Jan Shankar and me have been in Assam during that period. We know how difficult it was, and we know
yeah,
how difficult it was to control the Ulfa.
yep.
And
I
and
completely agree with you.
and
Yeah,
यही मुश्किल बात है that there are so many things tied up between two nations like India and Bangladesh कि
yeah,
अगर आप एक पेग निकालते हैं तो 10 pegs fall
yeah.
because culturally we
Uh,
are so close to each other.
correct.
West Bengal or
So
Bengal shares language, culture, and everything else with East Bengal.
everything with them. Yes. And not only that, even Tripura, the Bengalis of Tripura
Tripura.
also, a lot of
Absolutely,
them are
absolutely,
from,
absolutely,
a lot of
absolutely,
them are from Bangladesh who have gone there. Even a
absolutely,
lot of people in Meghalaya are Bengalis, right?
absolutely.
They're from Sylhet. Sylhetis हैं ये सब Sylheti और Chittagong के इलाके के हैं.
So this is
और
the
हमारा जो वो
reason
जो
why, yeah, why we had
हाँ
this
और हमारा
problem.
जो या एक और चीज मैं बताना चाहता हूँ, ये जो चिटगांग हिल ट्राइब्स के हैं वो उनके साथ जो है म्यांमार के साथ रिलेशनशिप में, मिजोरम के साथ रिलेशनशिप है और त्रिपुरा के साथ भी रिलेशनशिप है.
That's right.
ठीक है, ट्राइबल थिंग, सो इसमें
That's
बहुत
right.
है. राइट, इसी बात पे द नेक्स्ट थिंग व्हिच आई सी सम क्वेश्चंस आल्सो, आई विल नॉट टेक दिस बट विल डिस्कस इट. देयर इज अ फीलिंग दैट Bangladesh is still harboring terrorists and Al Qaeda and all that. And this feeling is there in India, despite the fact that we know that the current government in जो बांग्लादेश में है, उन्होंने काफी कदम लिया है जिससे ये हमारे जो टेररिस्ट हैं या हमारे विरुद्ध जो बोलते हैं उनको चुप कराने के लिए. What is your opinion on it? Because I think we need to dispel this thought, you know, that we face a
Yeah.
great danger from Bangladesh.
So in 2017 I led an Assam rifle delegation into
Yeah,
Bangladesh. I went there into Sylhet. Uh, I was taken by the Bangladesh army to all the places where, while of course being a military man, a lot of things can be hidden. But the issue was that during my visit, since I was a commander of a border force, was the clarity by which and the sincerity by which the Bangladesh army wanted to prove to me that they were trying their best to not allow any terrorists or insurgents harboring any plans inimical to India to stay there. I was convinced because
yeah,
after the briefing they said, "Ki, sir, we don't want a problem with India. We want to be friends with India because we know how critical India is for us." So
yeah.
there will always be enclaves. Even in India, I know in the Northeast, we have a lot of places where the army or the SM rifles cannot reach or can't reach every time. And people can set up camps, just as they set up camps in Myanmar, they set up camps in India. A lot of refugees from Myanmar during this recent coup that has happened over the last 3 years have entered India. A lot of refugees from Myanmar have entered Bangladesh. In fact, Bangladesh has a much worse refugee problem than India.
Yes, I agree with you.
The Tatmada or the Burmese army, which is known as the Tatmada, carried out
Tatmadaw. Yeah,
operations against the Rohingyas. You must have heard about the Rohingyas.
yeah.
They come from the Rakhine state, which is actually connected to the Chin state. So the Rakhine state actually is not neighboring India.
It
It is
neighbors.
neighboring the Chin state. So the Rohingyas would have to cross through the Chin state, and the Chins don't like the Rohingyas and would not have permitted the Rohingyas to cross from there. Therefore, the only way the Rohingyas could have entered India would have been from Bangladesh.
ये वो नीचे मिजोरम और
Neat.
त्रिपुरा के नीचे के इलाके में
They would come
जो
into
इस
Bangladesh.
मैप में है.
They would then either choose from there or come by boat from Cox's Bazar into one of the small,
Yeah,
alcoves from which they could enter India. That was
yeah,
actually the only way. As the head of the Director General of the Assam Rifles, I remember going in every place to see from where the Rohingyas could have come, and I found that 99% of them had entered by boat from Bangladesh,
yeah.
and they could not have entered by road from there. So this is one major issue that we have with Bangladesh: their inability to stop the refugees from Myanmar, and especially the Rohingyas. That was one issue.
Yeah.
But then when you talk to them, their resources are so much less. Just as the Myanmar army, Tatmada, their resources are so less that they have a tie-up with terrorist groups on our borders that you keep peace in this area and we will keep peace with you. So also I'm certain that even the Bangladesh forces
Bangladesh would be doing it.
would be doing Not so similarly, but yes, to an
But
extent,
to some extent, they would
because
be
it
able to
becomes
bring it.
so
Yeah.
difficult for people to police such difficult areas like the Chittagong hill tracks. So
Yeah, I agree
there
with
might
you.
be an
In
odd,
fact,
yeah,
मैं
might,
सबको सबको बताना चाहता हूँ, ये जो चिटगांग हिल ट्रैक्स हुआ या त्रिपुरा के जंगल हुए या मिजोरम के जंगल हुए, वो बहुत घने जंगल है और वहां ऑपरेट करना बहुत मुश्किल है। इतना गर्मी होता है, वहाँ मलेरिया इन्फेस्टेड एरिया है, जानवर
पानी,
होते हैं,
गर्मी, यस,
गर्मी,
वे,
पानी नहीं मिलता वहां आपको। वहां जब तक आप वहां नहीं जाएंगे, आपको पता नहीं है कि वहां का हालत क्या है। आप देख नहीं सकते हो, 10 मीटर के आगे आपको कुछ नजर नहीं आएगा कि 10 मीटर के अंदर कोई आपके बगल से निकल सकता है और आपको दिखाई नहीं
बहुत
देगा।
ही, यस,
ठीक।
बहुत ही डेंस
बहुत
अंडरग्रोथ है। सेकेंडरी
डेंजर।
जंगल बहुत डेंस है। प्राइमरी जंगल
या
क्योंकि पेड़ काट रखे हैं लोगों ने, बट सेकेंडरी जंगल बहुत डेंस है। And it is the
करेक्ट।
secondary jungle that prevents you from doing so many issues. And
या
लोग
और
बोलते हैं कि टेक्नोलॉजी क्यों नहीं इस्तेमाल कर सकते, उनके लिए मैं ये बताना चाहता हूँ कि टेक्नोलॉजी does not work in these dense secondary jungles. Everything gets
वहाँ
degraded. Everything gets degraded because of the kind of moisture there is, because the kind of rain there are, because the kind of very heavy undergrowth there is. कि आप कुछ कुछ नहीं कर सकते. It's very difficult for us
या
to, to protect these borders. Probably nature didn't want these borders to be protected because these are artificial borders.
यस।
These are borders created once countries came up, and these countries were actually one single nation. Normally
यस।
क्या होता है कि nations have borders on clearly defined geographical lines, but
या
if
इसमें
nations,
कोई बॉर्डर
yeah,
ऐसे है ही नहीं।
yeah, but if nations separate from each other, people separate, then there are no clear defined lines.
करेक्ट।
वही
राइट।
नेपाल के साथ हो रहा है कि it is the center of a river which
हाँ,
keeps changing course. It's the same thing with Bangladesh, that there are so
बांग्लादेश और
many small,
नहीं नहीं, ये
small
पूरा
alcoves,
इलाका अगर
enclaves.
आप
It is
भूटान
a
देख
very
लीजिए,
difficult thing.
नेपाल देख लीजिए, ये
बड़ा बड़ा
भूटान,
मुश्किल है.
नेपाल, बांग्लादेश, ये प्रॉब्लम यही है। लोग मानते नहीं है लोकल कि ये वो बॉर्डर है।
But I
क्योंकि
am convinced, sir, कि एक चीज I am convinced that the Bangladesh army is trying its best to
या
try
तो
and
इसका
make
मतलब
sure
ये है कि
that the
हाँ,
number of terrorists there are evicted from their country because they don't
यस।
want a problem with India.
यस। तो बात यह है कि हमें समझना चाहिए कि बांग्लादेश को भी ज्ञान हो रहा है आजकल, और ये ज्ञान क्योंकि जनरल शौकिन चौहान ने बताया इसीलिए नहीं। अगर आप देखोगे पिछले 5-10 साल से इनका रवैया बदल गया है, और इनका रवैया बदल गया और उनको ज्ञान आया है कि अगर उनको शांति में रहना है तो इंडिया के साथ शांति स्थापित करना बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है।
Hmm.
क्योंकि हम सोचते हैं कि बांग्लादेश के साथ हमारा 5-6 स्टेट्स का बॉर्डर है, पर आप बांग्लादेश की तरफ सोचो तो उनका एक ही स्टेट के साथ वो एक ही देश के साथ बॉर्डर है ना। वो चारों
Absolutely.
तरफ इंडिया ही घिरा हुआ है। राइट। तो उनको हमारे साथ शांति रखना बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, और उनका अर्थव्यवस्था के लिए भी शांति इंपॉर्टेंट है हमारे साथ। और जैसे सबसे पहले इन्होंने बताया, पानी। राइट। पानी की जो है बांग्लादेश में अगर कम हो गया अकाल पड़ेगा और फैमिन हो जाएगा, अगर ज्यादा हो गया तो बाढ़ आ जाएगा और कुछ नहीं होगा। राइट। तो पानी का जरूरत उनको, और इंडिया के साथ पानी के लिए समझौता करना बहुत ही अनिवार्य है। इसीलिए ये जो है पहले 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 10-15-20 साल क्या है कि बांग्लादेश में काफी अतल पुतल हो रहा था। इनके खुद सोसाइटी क्लियर नहीं था कि एक नया देश था। इनके कुछ पावर स्ट्रगल्स चलते थे, और वो धीरे धीरे अभी खत्म होके अभी 50 साल हो गया है, और ये अभी स्टेबलाइज हो रहे हैं। और जैसे जैसे धीरे धीरे इनका अर्थव्यवस्था भी बढ़ रहा है, और ये स्टेबलाइज होके इनको ज्ञान हो रहा है कि इनके नेबर्स के साथ सही रहना है। राइट। ओके। इस बीच में एक और चीज ये है कि हमने देखा है कि लॉट ऑफ चाइनीज इन्फ्लुएंस इन बांग्लादेश, और इसके बारे में भी काफी बात होता है। इनका मिलिट्री टू मिलिट्री टाइज भी इंपॉर्टेंट है। जी जिनपिंग यहाँ आए और उन्होंने बांग्लादेश को स्पेशल फैसिलिटीज दिया है, एक्सपोर्ट्स और टैक्स रेवेन्यू के लिए भी। और ये माना जाता है कि बांग्लादेश इज एन इम्पोर्टेंट pearl in the string of pearl strategy of China against India. तो इन्होंने कुछ सबमरीन्स भी दिया है, कुछ बोट्स भी दिया है, और even Chinese vessels carry out a lot of exploration in Bangladesh waters, in the Bay of Bengal. So, how do you visualize कि इनका चाइना का influence क्या है? What's the effect on our security, and what should we do to handle this?
Sir, China is a huge power, bordering India. It is a world power today. The entire world recognizes that next to the US, China is the next
China is
next large power.
great power.
And this is also the time when China is, no power in the world has ever risen peacefully. कभी हिस्ट्री में, अब पिछले 6000 साल के इतिहास में, recorded history में, there is no recorded history of a great power rising peacefully. And Pakistan and China is in a hurry to rise. Her leadership with Xi Jinping has made a large number of promises to themselves that by 2049 or 2050 they would be the most powerful nation in the world. And इसलिए China is moving as fast as possible. And based on this, she is making sure that there is no competition to China in the world other than the US. And here is this huge power of India, which does not consider China that powerful. We don't bother about China's power in the sense that she keeps talking about the land that they claim from India. We say, nahi, this is Indian land, and we will fight you for that. We don't mind. We will defend our land. And everywhere in the world, also they talk of another powerful nation emerging in Asia, which is India. It is a very populous country. We are the most populous country in the entire world, 1.4 plus billion people. We may have an economy that is less than China, but it is developing and it will develop. And most importantly, India has the youngest population in the world. And the fourth issue is that we don't think China is bigger than us. हमारे दिमाग में नहीं है कि that we can't compete with China. And that China doesn't want to do. And because of this, China has moved into all parts of the nation surrounding India, whether it is Sri Lanka, whether it is Nepal, whether it is Bangladesh, whether it is Burma. Everywhere in our neighborhood, China has surrounded us. Taking claims,
Yeah,
buying ports, having a close relationship with the armies, with an idea that she encircles India and contains India in India's neighborhood. That means she does not want India to go beyond South Asia. That means
yep,
at no stage should India think that we will rival China in Asia. And this is China's strategy with India, that we will not allow India to grow beyond South Asia, which is why she helps Pakistan, which is why Pakistan is actually pushed into trying to finger us at every point, which is why she helps Bangladesh, which is why she helps Sri Lanka. It's a small little nation in India's south, but still she helps. She's created the port of Hanbantota. If you go to Colombo, the port city, all along the port, it is only Chinese people making the Colombo port.
yeah,
They have been given on the land. They've done similarly in Nepal because they don't want India to grow beyond this place. They don't want India to have. So, China's strategy in Asia is to encircle India. And she is using a very large resource of hers economically to do that. When I went to Myanmar or to Burma, the Burmese generals had understood this. And they told me in no uncertain terms that we have a common enemy. China is our common enemy. The Bangladesh army also feels similarly. So do the Sri Lankans and so do the Nepalese. But they are so small compared to this huge giant of China that there's very little they can do. Secondly, China does not preach. She only gives
या
money.
जो जिसके साथ है उससे बात कर लेता है वो.
Bilkul, bilkul. So as a result of which they have been able to get through to all types of governments and in all types of places. But their strategy to deal with the neighbors is to contain India and South Asia. And that is the reason why Bangladesh and China are together in many ways. So India should never take this bait of blaming Bangladesh. There is very little Bangladesh will do with China against India. Bangladesh is also using Chinese money to develop their own infrastructure. But having spoken to a large number of Bangladeshi officers, both retired and serving, who are clear that they will never allow China to use them against India. Like
Yeah,
Pakistan
I
has
agree
allowed
with
them
you.
to use them.
Yeah,
China, Bangladesh and Burma will not allow China to use them against India.
yeah, I agree with you completely because मैं सबको बताना चाहता हूँ. कॉक्स बाजार के पास एक पोर्ट है सोनाडिया जो चाइना डेवलप करना चाहती थी, पर काफी दिन के सलाह मशवरत के बाद बांग्लादेश has not given that port contract to China, but it has given it to Japan. राइट. तो ये जो आप बोल रहे हो बिल्कुल सही बोल रहे हो, और ये इट्स ऑन ग्राउंड ऑल्सो. So that means that you know Bangladesh is taking all steps to ensure कि वो they'll keep engaged with China क्योंकि China moved in when we were not able to move in, when we
बिल्कुल
could
सर,
not deal
absolutely.
with.
पर हम
बिल्कुल
अभी भी कुछ नहीं
right.
कर सकते सर. Compared to what China has, we
नहीं,
can do very
compared to what
little.
China has been, but
We can do very little.
आप
बहुत
आपकी
बहुत
जो
कम सर.
आप राइट. So the point is, बट स्टिल बांग्लादेश को पता है कि उनका बेसिक गुजारा जो है वो इंडिया के साथ है. वो एंड बांग्लादेश विल आल्सो प्ले अ टू साइडेड गेम टू देयर एडवांटेज.
To their
कि
advantage.
वो
Every country, sir, whether it is
एवरीवेयर
Myanmar
एवरी या
or Colombo or
नेपाल और भूटान और जो
Nepal,
भी
they are
है
all
वो
playing. They're all
प्लेइंग
playing
अ
this
डबल
game
गेम.
for their own survival.
या ये बात सही है. राइट. ओके. नो, I have one more question, right? Which after which we'll take on questions from everyone else. अभी क्या है कि 2 3 या 4 महीने पहले तक, till the effect of the Ukraine war was not felt globally, Bangladesh economy was doing very well. इनफैक्ट बांग्लादेश का मिसाल लिया जाता है हर पाकिस्तानी थिंकर और ऑपेड में. देखो बांग्लादेश कहाँ है और हम कहाँ गिर गए, यही बोला जाता है.
Absolutely, sir.
पर और उसका इकोनॉमी अच्छा कर रहा था, पर क्योंकि ग्लोबल इन्फ्लेशन हो गया, फूड प्राइसेस रॉकेटेड अप वगैरह वगैरह, इनका अर्थव्यवस्था में थोड़ा प्रॉब्लम हो रहा है. राइट. ये अभी दे आर ऑलमोस्ट ऑन द वर्ज ऑफ गोइंग टू IMF. दे किसी तरह किसी तरीके से बच रहे हैं. राइट. और ये भी देखा गया है कि चाइना एट दिस पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम इज नॉट इन अ पोजिशन टू हेल्प बांग्लादेश द वे इट यूज्ड टू हेल्प अर्लियर, क्योंकि चाइना के खुद के प्रॉब्लम्स हैं. उनका खुद का इकोनॉमी डाउन है. आज ही मैं देख रहा था इनका जो बिटवीन अप्रैल एंड मई देयर इज अ 7.5 परसेंट ड्रॉप इन एक्सपोर्ट्स एंड 4.5% ड्रॉप इन इंपोर्ट्स. राइट. और सो चाइना हैज नॉट बीन एबल टू हेल्प बांग्लादेश जिस तरीके से पहले करते थे. तो इस हालत में व्हाट शुड इंडियाज थिंग बी, क्योंकि हम ये नहीं हो सकता आप राइज कर रहे हो, आपका इकोनॉमी जो है 6-7% के ऊपर दौड़ रहा है, और ये बांग्लादेश जैसे एक इम्पोर्टेंट कंट्री है जो इकोनॉमिक प्रॉब्लम्स में है. राइट. व्हाट कैन वी डू टू टेक बांग्लादेश अलोंग, क्योंकि अगर एक्ट ईस्ट है और हमारा नेबरहुड फर्स्ट पॉलिसी है, तो अगर हेल्दी नेबर लाइक बांग्लादेश इज इम्पोर्टेंट फॉर अस.
कोई शक नहीं सर. The first issue is that abhi Bangladesh ka why their exports have reduced is because the European market has totally been destroyed,
Markets close. Yeah, I agree with you.
and Bangladesh was importing clothes and a lot of other finished garments, etc., to European market, and that because that has closed and that has gone into now a tailspin. That the Bangladeshi economy itself has lost a lot of money. We have to help Bangladesh find markets, and we can be a big market for Bangladesh. We can have a trade with Bangladesh in many ways, which we are having, which is increasing. The idea is to engage Bangladesh, to help Bangladesh so that Bangladesh does not go into a tailspin economically. We share a lot of, we can buy their rice, we can buy so many of their agricultural products and keep them afloat till such time the world restores some kind of normalcy. So I would suggest, sir, that जहाँ भी हम कोशिश कर सकते हैं, especially these smaller, weaker nations on our periphery, India should try their best to make sure that we retain a good hold with them, we retain good relations with them, and we are true friends of theirs during crisis. Because during crisis, China always falters and always becomes very, very selfish. So this is the
I
right
ag-
moment, sir, to help Bangladesh, to help Nepal, to help Colombo, to help everybody, because everyone must understand that India has the right attitude towards helping.
या ये आपकी बात बिल्कुल सही है। ऑलरेडी हम श्रीलंका में काफी मदद कर रहे हैं, इसीलिए चाइना का क्या है वो थोड़ा वहां पीछे हट गए और चाइना भी कर नहीं पा रहा, और वो हालत बांग्लादेश में भी पाया जा रहा है आज के दिन। और ये सुनहरा मौका है कि ये स्ट्रिंग ऑफ पर्ल्स को तोड़ने के लिए,
Yes,
और
absolutely.
और तोड़ना नहीं है तो कम से कम ढीला रखने के लिए, ढीला करने के लिए,
एटीट्यूड
राइट।
चेंज करने के लिए ना सर कि
एटीट्यूड चेंज की जरूरत है। अगर हम हर बार, हर आदमी इंडिया से यही बोलता रहता है कि भाई हम, आप हमारा टेररिस्ट रख रहे हो, आप हमारे अगेंस्ट बात करते हो, आप ये है वो है, तो वो भी ऐसे बिहेव करेंगे। पर अगर
एब्सोल्युटली
हम उनको एक साथ, आप अच्छी तरीके से सलूक करें, उनको ये सोचें कि भाई हमारा छोटा भाई हो और आप हमारे मार्केट में शामिल हो जाओ, ओपन योर मार्केट्स, बिकॉज हमारा बड़ा मार्केट है। मेरे को याद है मार्क टुली, जो बीबीसी का करस्पॉन्डेंट थे जब हम बच्चे थे, तो वो अभी आजकल ही इज रिटायर्ड एंड सेटल्ड इन दिल्ली। वो आए थे एनडीसी में हमारे साथ बात करने के लिए।
हाँ यस यस यस
उन्होंने वो उन्होंने एक बार बोला कि देखिए, इन छोटे छोटे देश जो है, नेपाल हुआ, भूटान हुआ, बांग्लादेश हुआ, म्यांमार हुआ, कोलंबो हुआ, यानी श्रीलंका हुआ, ये मालदीव वगैरह, ये छोटे देश हैं। इंडिया जो है ना, बड़ा देश है, और इंडिया को बड़ा भाई की तरह इनको साथ लेके जाना चाहिए। दिल बड़ा होना चाहिए, दिल खोल के इनके साथ व्यवहार करना चाहिए।
एब्सोल्युटली सर
अगर आप
बिल्कुल
दिल खोल के इनके साथ व्यवहार करोगे तो वो ये सब आपके साथ आएंगे, उनके और कोई चारा ही नहीं है। जब हम दिल
जी
खोल के काम नहीं करते इनके साथ, तो ये और किसी रास्ता पकड़ लेते हैं। ठीक है।
एक चीज बिल्कुल हमको क्लियर करना चाहिए कि सर इंडिया should not make any more enemies in our
एनिमीज,
neighborhood. We
नेबरहुड।
should take
और
everyone along as friends. All communities, all marginal communities, all vulnerable communities should be made friends with. It is India's business to help them, sir.
करेक्ट,
Geography, geography, history, cultural association जो है
एवरीथिंग,
हमारे इतना close है that it is our business to help people. And if we don't help, they will come inside India anyway because there is no money to eat. There's no money, there is no food to eat, and people get desperate, and then the same problem will happen again.
ये बात जो है ना, आपने बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट बात बताया। अगर आप उनको मदद नहीं करोगे, वो वैसे भी आएंगे,
वैसे
और
भी
वैसे
आएंगे
भी आके हमारे लिए प्रॉब्लम हो जाएगा, और उनका रवैया भी ठीक नहीं होगा, तो वो अंदरूनी प्रॉब्लम भी शुरू करेंगे, और आपका जितने भी उग्रवादी वगैरह हैं, उनको पनाह देना शुरू करेंगे।
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल
अगर
सर
उनके साथ मदद करोगे, तो वो अपने लोग जो प्रॉब्लम हो सकते हैं वो अपने पास रखेंगे, और हमारे जो उग्रवादी वगैरह टेररिस्ट वहां जाते हैं उनको बाहर कर देंगे। तो हम उनके साथ बना रखना अच्छे रिश्ते बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, और खास करके बांग्लादेश के साथ बनाया रखना, इट्स वेरी